Hello and welcome to a new vlog and video in cooperation with ReiseJung. We're taking a look at the last 2 days on board of the first cruise with a beautiful Swiss crown. After discovering the Netherlands and Belgium, with Zons already a first city in Germany, we're then visiting in this video the city of Koblenz before reaching the ReiseJung home port of Hanau. To get there, we are crossing the beautiful Middle Rhine Valley, sailing past the Rheingau, and close to the city of Mainz. We are then leaving the Rhine, continuing on the river Main, passing Frankfurt, and then we are reaching the ReiseJung home port of Hanau, where this cruise is coming to an end after 10 days. But we are starting in Koblenz, where we arrived in the night, and whilst some of our guests were enjoying a guided city tour, we went into the city center of Koblenz on our own. As you probably know from my other videos, we are visiting Koblenz frequently, as it is the ideal last port of a cruise coming from the Netherlands, as leaving here in the afternoon means you can sail through the beautiful Middle Rhine Valley and you arrive in Hanau on time for the disembarkation. But nevertheless, it's always beautiful to visit Koblenz, even though we've been there countless times, as there are so many nice places and streets to be discovered, and of course you can enjoy the best ice cream in Germany at Egelosia, which is a must for me when I'm visiting Koblenz. In the summer season can get very busy there with long queues, but as the weather was not perfect and it was still quite early, there was no queue at all and I could enjoy nice ice cream without waiting. With a nice ice cream, I then continued walking through Koblenz, heading down to the river Mosel, and on the way I'm walking past the so-called Augenroller, which means eye roller. This guy is constantly rolling his eyes, and every full hour he's also sticking out his tongue. On the river Mosel I then saw this interesting ship, as there's a bridge being rebuilt nearby. The ship is transporting parts of the bridge, and I think it's quite a challenge to steer a ship with such a limited view through a hollow part of a bridge. I then walked past the famous Deutsche Eck, German corner, which is the point where the river Mosel and Rhine are meeting, and that also means that I'm now almost back at the ship, walking past the cable car of Koblenz that we will later on also take. But first it was time for lunch on board. Here we can see the beautiful Swiss crown docked in Koblenz. Also took the chance to take some nice pictures of the ship with the Castle Ehrenbreitstein in the background. And then, as I said, it was time for lunch on board, and afterwards we headed to the cable car of Koblenz for the most beautiful view of the city. The cable car was built in 2010 for the Bundesgartenschau, which is a garden show, and it was only planned that it remains here for 3 years, but the city kept the cable car as it is a big tourist attraction and it will probably remain until 2030. From the cable car you have a very nice view of your cruise ship, but of course also of the rivers Rhine, Mosel and the city itself, as well as the Deutsche Eck. My recommendation is to sit backwards when you're going up, because then you have the nicest view. Actually, the view from the cable car itself is much nicer than from the top, so I would recommend sitting backwards so you can enjoy this beautiful view just like here in this video. On top you have several options. You could visit the Castle Ehrenbreitstein, there's a viewing point, and of course there's some nice nature. For the castle you need a lot of time, so that was no option for us, as we only had a couple of minutes up here before we had to take the cable car back down. So we went to the viewing point, which is also very nice. Just for you to know, you cannot really see the city of Koblenz, just here on the left side a little bit, but you can enjoy this nice view of the River Rhine and the surrounding areas of Koblenz. We're then taking the cable car back down into the city center and heading back on board. It was a quite windy ride. It was pretty windy, but that's not a problem with this type of cable car, as it is running on 2 cables. It can operate with wind speeds up to 80 km per hour, and then the cable car is stopped, but it already even operated with wind gusts of up to 147 km per hour. In the meantime, we have left Koblenz and now we can enjoy the last scenic highlight of the cruise, sailing through the Middle Rhine Valley, the most beautiful part of the Rhine. We're sailing past the castle Stolzenfels, and in a second we will also see the castle Marksburg, which we already visited on another cruise. They are offering some fantastic guided tours up there. And later on we will sail past Boppard, St. Goar and St. Goarshausen, where we are then reaching the Lorelei.
Here we can see the paddle ship Goethe, also a very beautiful ship, which I already traveled on. It is usually sailing between Koblenz and Rüdesheim on day trips, and there's also a video about this ship on my channel. And here we can see the famous Lorelei, beautiful rock, which for many is the highlight of the sailing through the Middle Rhine Valley.
But there is another highlight coming up this evening. As it was our last evening, there was the gala evening with a gala dinner with fantastic food, some more courses than usual, so it was a fantastic culinary end of the cruise. And also the weather was fantastic for a last day. In the last evening we were able to enjoy a double rainbow, so it was a fantastic evening. With this beautiful sunset, and later on when we're close to Mainz, leaving the River Rhine, heading into the Main, this day is then slowly coming to a nice end, and we're starting day 10, the last day on board, at least for our guests, as we are later on continuing on the same day with a second cruise. When I woke up in the morning, we were already approaching Hanau. We sailed past the castle Philippsruhe, and we are now just a few minutes away from entering the port. Here we are in the port of Hanau, and that means that this fantastic cruise is now coming to an end. A nice jazz cruise with good music on board, fantastic destinations, beautiful sailing during a daylight comes to an end. We started in Huizen near Amsterdam, and then we stopped in Middelburg, Ghent, Antwerp, Maastricht, Roermond, Nijmegen, Zons, Koblenz, and now we're here in Hanau, where this cruise is coming to an end. And that also means that this video is now coming to an end. In the next video we will take a look at the second cruise on board. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video, or maybe one day on board of one of our cruises. You can find some more information on that on reisejung.de.